What is something so revealing that you would like to confess anonymously? My first boyfriend, I had sex with, drew a very detailed, extravagantly done nude pic of me and posted it on the internet. It gained a lot of attention. He didn't tell me this for many years, and I'd no idea where it is or what it could be under. I wish that I could find it. I was very sexy back then. One I just told the missus actually. I once took a shit over a couple of mirrors to see what it looked like when the shit was coming out of my butthole. I was a curious kid. I only date, sleep with women that use wheelchairs. As equals. No abuse. A lot of people can't handle the idea of a person with a disability having sex, or someone without a disability having sex with them. When I was 18, 2004, I made a dating profile that said I was into older women. I was, and still am, the quiet, nerdy type. As expected, I got zero traction with it for months, but eventually I got a message saying that it was this woman's daughters who had set up a dating profile for their mother. I was too dumb to worry about scams, and thankfully it wasn't. We met, and despite the massive age gap, I was 18, she was 47, we actually had a lot in common, and we had a wonderful relationship. We dated for a few years, but she eventually broke things off as other people in her family had issues with my age. Years ago, I was fixing a lag issue with my boyfriend's parents' computer. His dad was the pastor of his church. I was tracking where they downloaded malware, and I noticed a ton of sites in browser history about using vegetables as sex toys. The next day, they had us help them with their backyard garden. They were growing rows of carrots and cucumbers. My BF kept asking me why I was so quiet, and I didn't have the heart to ever say why. Edit. I had a phone name too. It was Trish. My first job at 18 was as a phone sex operator. This was in the late 90s. I had a headset and everything. It was all done by phone. Online chat hadn't become an industry widely used platform yet. We had male employees too. The company kept track of our average call times. I usually made the top of the list. A life achievement I proudly carry with me to this day. Lot of weird stories from that time. Also, if you've ever gotten a tarot reading from a hotline psychic, good chance you're speaking to a phone sex operator who got promoted to what we called the other side, which was literally the other side of the call center. This literally just happened. I woke up feeling sick, diarrhea and such. Suddenly I feel a vom coming on. I try to stifle it. I haven't shit in a minute, but I was still sitting on the toilet just in case. So I flush, feeling the puke rising. I turn, bend over and dry heave into the now empty bowl, and the convulsion causes me to explode shit all over the wall and floor behind me. Panicking, I sit back down and then proceed to start vomiting onto the floor and into the bathtub next to me. After cleaning everything and taking a shower, I'm feeling a bit better. Gonna go lay down. I moved back home during COVID. I have the money to move out, but my parents don't care if I just save money and stay here. The only reason I haven't moved out yet is I've been hooking up with a neighborhood MILF for over 2 years now, and it's awesome. Shout out to my dog for insisting she gets pets from her from the first day we crossed paths walking around the neighborhood. I want to be shrunken down and stepped on by my barefoot husband. That's it. That's my entire fantasy. I write smut. I'm a corporate suit type by day, porn fiction writer by night. A commenter said, "Your fics get me off every single time." One of the proudest moments of my life, and I couldn't even post about it on my regular social media. Edit to add, a different reviewer put, as feedback on another story of mine, so I guess he or she enjoyed it too. Another nice comment I'm proud of, but couldn't post about. I want to try things with chocolate syrup and whipped cream, but I'm scared away by the cleaning process. My ex-girlfriend got me into swinging. She introduced me to a group of neighborhood wives. Then shortly later broke up with me. Why, you may ask? She wanted to break up with me earlier, but didn't want to hurt my self-confidence. So she decided to get me into swinging so I can build up my confidence with other women, and she could leave without worry. My mom bought me a build-your-own sock monkey kit for Christmas when I was 13. I started it. One night, I saw it just sitting there with the bottom open, where cotton was stuffed into it. I fucked it. Then, in a fit of remorse and guilt, buried it in the backyard at night. Years later, my dog dug it up and brought it inside. My mom has questions, but I had no answers, only silence. I made a fetish video for a guy I know a couple years ago. He said he's watched it to get off dozens of times, but when he does come, he stops the video. He says he's still never gotten to the end of it, and it's less than 10 minutes long. Edit. Sorry, I wasn't really expecting this comment to be seen. The fetish was stuck porn, and it was extra authentic because it's also one of my fetishes. Not me, but my sister told me it. At 17, she once had a nightmare our mom had died. One of those really sucky nightmares where nothing outlandish can tip you off to its falsehood. So when she woke up, she ran down the hallway in a delirious fit of fright and burst into our parents' room. A bit of context before I continue. Both parents had thought the other had locked their door, and they had coincidentally also woken up early, but under much more positive circumstances. She didn't walk in on them in the act, but they were both naked and into some foreplay. She said she was so happy mom was alive it didn't immediately register what she was seeing, how dark it was that early also helped, and went right to expressing her relief until our very alive mother gave her a very loud, "Get the hell out of here!" So my sister got the best news in perhaps the worst way. Mom was not only still alive, she was also very much still in love with Dad. I fingered my wife to an orgasm while I was driving through a town center. Her orgasm was so intense that she fell asleep straight after. When we got home, she dragged me to the bedroom and fucked for like hours. Never been able to do it that long before or after, and had multiple orgasms myself. I genuinely got her pregnant that night. If I hadn't gotten horny in the car and fingered her, I definitely wouldn't have my boy who is currently watching the Mario movie. I, 26F, had a dream about having sex with another woman and came in my sleep. Now all I want to do is make another girl come, but I'm married with 2 kids. GF broke up with me a few months ago, and for the first time in my life I'm sleeping with multiple women, kink stuff too. It's fun, new experiences, heightened sexual confidence, feel a little bit invincible. I was fucking my wife in the back seat of our car, and this guy on a bike rode by looked in at us and gave me a thumbs up. I gave him a thumbs up back, and he rode off. Never told my wife. My high school girlfriend was giving me head in her car outside my house. I was in the passenger seat, she was tucked down under the glove box. My good friend's sister and 2 random dudes just so happened to walk by. She noticed me sitting in the car, but couldn't see what was going on. She starts begging me to step out and say hi. I just kept making shit excuses. The 2 dudes noticed what was going on and started laughing their asses off. I ended up giving his sister the bag of weed I had with me, knowing she would scurry away to go smoke. This core memory still keeps me up some nights. I'm a straight guy that used to live stream on cam sites and jack off in front of dozens of strangers. My viewers were probably 95% men. At the time I hadn't been with anyone before, and my self-confidence and body image were pretty low, so the amount of thoughtful compliments, returning viewers, and offers for payment was extremely validating for me. I would 100% be doing this often if I were still single. Might even try to actually make some money. Got drunk with an old coworker and fingered her while we made out in my car. She gave me a blowjob. All the audio was recorded on my dash cam. I still have it, and get off to it quite a bit. I posted nudes on Twitter for a while, and actually got 2 men to pay for thigh pics. I needed reassurance that I wasn't completely undesirable. I once dated a girl. It was intense passion. She was highly intelligent and had these piercing eyes that locked me in place. After a while, she confessed a deep sexual desire, which was to draw my blood and write with it. Like poems and shit? Not sure. Those piercing eyes got very scary after that, and I did not want to sleep next to her and ended things. Maybe I dodged something, or maybe I lost something that day. Sometimes my morbid curiosity makes me wonder. One evening after a night out way back in 2012, I was super depro and considered killing myself. While I sat in my car parked on a small bridge-like ramp in town, some random dude stopped behind me to check if everything was okay. I'm drunk and crying. The one guy gets in my car, and for some reason I start sucking him off. That dick might have just saved my life. Never got his name, never saw him a guy. I had a wet dream about candied bacon once. I woke up upon release and realized I was full on rubbing one out in my sleep while dreaming of glorious candied bacon. I'm fairly sure I fell asleep high on Mary Jane and awoke completely blasphemous as the lights were on, my legs were spread, and it's clear I had really just went to town and had an insanely good nut to a food item. This is what being overworked overnights, sex-deprived, and loving bacon coated in syrup gets you. The past couple years I've become involved with my local kink community and made so many great connections and play partners over that time. I don't always have sex with my play partners, but I do enjoy it, and it happens fairly frequently. This past year alone I've had more sexual partners than I had the entirety of my previous life combined. It is very weird that this is the community I've landed in after leading a fairly vanilla life otherwise. Because the community is so diverse, some of these partners have been older, and some younger. One was late 20s, and absolutely gorgeous. After we wrapped up, she told me she was at a model, and where I could find her content. Checked an item off the list without even knowing that's what I was doing. Kink is fun. I've always been talented in drawing. Back in high school at an all-boys boarding school, I discovered a hidden talent for drawing comics. One day, I sketched a rather explicit comic, porn comic, but forgot to stash it away. A friend stumbled upon it and, surprisingly, asked for more. He was even willing to pay for it. Before I knew it, I was running a custom porn comic business for a year, taking orders and delivering. My grades went down, so I had to stop. To this day, I'm still amazed that the teachers never caught on. One time I'm a man by the way, 20s, I was at a sex party having a great time. I got very thirsty after some time in one of the rooms and left fully naked walking across the house towards the kitchen. I made it about 5 feet away from the fridge and water before a woman stopped me and started giving me head. Which was all well and good, but more than anything, I was really thirsty. At this point a crowd had gathered to watch the spectacle. So now there was a human wall, and some dude I don't know locked eyes with me and was like, "Hell yeah, brother," and I asked him to get me a glass of water. So while this girl was putting a show on using my appendage, this little dude ran off and brought me water, and I chugged it while getting head. Twice before she was done. I'll never forget his face of glee. He was like the pit crew to a NASCAR racer. He was all about helping the team succeed. Worked in healthcare recruiting for a while. We would have nurses and NPs come to the office now and again to interview with the recruiters if we had specific questions about more detailed specialized experience, i.e. peds, oncology, etc. Brought in an NP who was specialized in urology. We had separate interview rooms that had blinds and locked doors. We will call the NP Sarah. Sarah started to drop hints and hit on me, made some remark about looking at my reproductive system if I ever needed it checked. We fucked in that interview room. No one ever found out. Well, I've shared lots of stuff anonymously here on Reddit, so it's not that secretive, but I'm dying to share it in real life. My husband and I are just your typical, boring, married couple. We've been married for 21 years, have 3 kids, work together in a factory. We used to be Mormon. Co-workers sometimes act like I'm so innocent or prudish because of the ex-Mormon thing, and the fact that I haven't tried much when it comes to drugs and alcohol. But my husband and I have been to a couple of swinger events, but only played with each other in front of everyone. I have a nude pics, no face, online. I had a much younger GF that I met up with in a hotel a couple times. Sometimes co-workers will say something like, "Oh, don't let sweet little hear this," and I just want to lay it all out. But I don't, because sometimes people get weird about that stuff. My male co-workers would think I'm down to cheat, and my female co-workers would think I'm trying to steal their husbands. After years spent with my husband on the swinger scene, I can say that it's all so boring. It's pretty much impossible to find the right person to play with. Most of the couples and singles we had played with were so bland, no effort, both in their appearances and ways to play. Most of them seemed pretty much clueless about how to make someone feel good. I'd rather spend one single night with someone who can blow my mind with their words and make me feel the most desirable woman who ever lived than fuck around with half of the people we've met/fucked in 10 years. I got a huge crush on my coworker, and I think they may be reciprocating. But at the same time, I've been very wrong in the past, and I need this job, and I don't want to make things awkward there if I'm wrong. This happened before we were married, but me and my wife dabble with open relationship stuff. Mostly, I go on a date or two every 7 or 8 months. I am very busy. One of my friends knew this, and our relationship got flirty. She came to visit me and my wife, and we all sorta knew what the deal was. I ended up having sex with my friend in our spare bedroom after my wife had gone to sleep. It was fun, a little awkward, but only in that way sex with someone new is. We finish up, she ends up leaving, and I go to my own bedroom. My wife is awake and ready to go. And that's how I had sex with 2 women about 20 minutes apart from one another. Hands down the most porno thing I've ever done. I'm with a relatively vanilla partner of 10 years. Besides him loving my feet, which I'm so happy to indulge him with, I have a huge breeding kink, free use, CNC and daddy kink. I've mentioned it, but he's never fully indulged me in it. I fantasize about it all the time. I found out that my dad and stepmom were swingers. But that's not the worst part. I found out when my dad left me home alone for the first time and left me with the family iPad so I'd have some way of contacting him. His swinger friend messaged him something really explicit about what he'd like to do to my stepmom, and when I clicked on it, I realized this was mutual and had been an ongoing thing between the friend, his wife, my dad, and stepmom. I was so freaked and offended that I responded, "No thanks," to the guy. I'd never told my dad that I knew, and he's never acknowledged it, though I'm sure he must have noticed later on. Was working abroad in a pretty strict culture, and I got an apartment from the company that I lived in. I had customers coming home to that apartment and wanting to get wild. HR found out and came over to talk to me, and I got nervous AF thinking I was about to lose my job and get sent back home. Instead, she asked me if it was cool if she smoked some meth. So we smoked meth, and then I fucked her too. Ended up smoking meth and sleeping with her once a week to keep my job for a year. I love smelling my wife's panties after she's worn them. The scent of her ass and pussy on her cute panties drives me crazy, and it feels naughty when I'm doing it, which adds to the turn on for me. And I fucking love that she doesn't mind me doing this. I had been hanging out with a friend of mine all day who I was at the time absolutely infatuated with. We went to a concert together, and then she left me for some other party, and I stood in the street feeling miserable, but not wanting to go home. All of a sudden, a man pulled up in his car to ask directions. He was being unclear about where he was going, and after a bit of clarification, he admitted he was looking for a swingers club nearby. I was intrigued and started asking him about it. The convo turned kinda sexy. I am a gay woman, but it still was kinda hot, and before I knew it, he had his dick out and was touching it while I calmly encouraged him. I held his other hand through the window while he jerked himself off in the driver's seat. When he finished, we exchanged one meaningful hand squeeze, and he decided to keep on his search and scooted away. I was still sad about my friend, but I was turned on, and weirdly felt better knowing I just had this incredibly strange and harmless sexual encounter that she'd never know about. Edit, remove potential PI. I sucked my fiance's dick on a very out in the open park bench after a concert during winter and managed to make him come. Just as we finished up, some guy walking his dog walked past us while I still had some cum on my face, and my lipstick was all fucked up. Still one of the hottest and trashiest experiences I've ever had. I'm hooking up with a coworker, and it's the best sex I've ever had. His cock is perfect, hits all the right spots. We both click very well sexually and out of the bedroom. His sex drive is insane, and most of the time we have unprotected sex, and I don't even care. The first time he came in me, it felt like my very soul merged with his, and I've never felt that before. I've almost cried during sex with him a couple times. Watching his body move on top of me is like my own personal porn to the point where I can't even get off to porn anymore. Seeing his muscles ripple as he holds back, feeling his entire body. It all feels surreal, and like an out-of-body experience, almost like a weird soul connection. I think I found my person, and I don't ever want to give him up. Last Saturday, I am driving home with my wife in the passenger seat. We just left her work's Christmas party. She is wearing a dress, with a slit, and no underwear. She rarely wears underwear when we go out. As I am driving, I slide my hand up her skirt through the slit. I start to rub her pussy. She immediately drops her seat back and puts her high heels on the dash. I finger her good. She squirts all over the seat as she comes. She says, "Buck, I think I just squirted all over my dress." She gets up and the squirt missed most of the dress and landed mostly on my car seat. We get home. There is a huge wet spot on my car seat. I feel it. It is damp. I tell my wife not to worry about it. I will clean it up in the morning. By the time I get back in the car, it is nearly dry, with a small white stain. I just leave the stain there. I think it's hot. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments below, share what bold secret you'd like to confess anonymously. And don't forget to check out our other videos.